I don't know. Well, that was fun.
That was
It was
fun.
a nice, good show. Good show.
Completely failing to fix our white
Really
balance
nice.
problems.
It still looks the same. I'm sure that I'm sure the camera is doing something weird. It's weird.
Yeah, mine is too, I think.
I don't remember looking this pasty. Maybe I always look this pasty, and it's just like, oh, it's been so long. I don't remember how pasty I am.
Well, you're Jason Knapp, aren't you?
God, I look like the dead. All right.
Jason Elmer's Glue Knapp.
If this doesn't drive people over to the YouTube channel, I don't know what will. Honestly. Oh, let's
all
look
those
at
great
pasty
sight
Jason.
gags.
You think this is pasty? You should see me without a shirt.
Oh, man.
That is.
I think that'll be for the Patreon
at what
subscribers. It'll make them quit.
I know. They're like, you know what? I'm good.
That's the last $5 I send anybody.
At what point did you, or maybe you haven't gotten there yet, or maybe in your free time, you lay outside and sun yourself, the bronzed god that you are. You just you just soak it all in.
Clearly.
Right. Oh, the spray tan. At what point, at some point I just decided, and it's embarrassingly young, I think, for me, I decided, I'm okay with the farmer's tan.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's just not going to happen. I spend too much time indoors. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. I don't live a life where I can roam the street without a shirt on.
And that's the other side of it too, right? Is because you don't see yourself being without a shirt, you're not going to be in a situation where the fact that you have a farmer's tan and not a whatever else tan, non-farmer tan, hunter tan maybe, it's not gonna
beach body tan.
It won't be revealed. So what the heck
to
is
most
the point?
people, God willing.
Right, exactly. I mean, unless something extraordinarily bad happens, nobody's gonna know that you've got a farmer tan and not a full-on tan. And then at that point, I think them going, hey, what a farmer tan on that guy that's been blown out of his clothes. And
right. I mean, I have that neighbor down the street who walks around without a shirt on a lot of times. The guy, God, what a jerk that guy is too, by the way. Like the guy who we talked about him in a previous episode, the Watchman.
We've talked about a number of your neighbors. I think we're getting a nice little sort of rogues gallery.
He was out riding his bike the other day with I guess his child. I don't know. You know how he just buys them off the internet. Well, he just show up. He was this alone guy, single, and all of a sudden he has a wife and a child and a dog. It's he ordered a family in a box. Essentially, is what he did.
Got an IKEA family stuff with some assembly required.
And he's riding bikes with them, or with just his daughter, I guess. And hold on, making your head small. There we go. And he said, and he starts, he's looking at me. They're riding up the street and coming from having parked, and they got their helmets on and stuff, and he's riding, and he's looking straight at me, and he says something, and it was kind of inaudible, but I assume it was hey, how you doing, kind of thing, right? Because it's me, sure. And I said, hey, how you doing? Nothing. Turns out he was talking to his daughter. He just wasn't bothering to turn his head back or anything to give any kind of indication that he was talking to her. And I got, not only was he not talking to me, I didn't even get any response when I said, how you doing? I'm looking right at him.
Yeah.
Nothing. I waved. I even waved with my white palm.
Yeah, there's no way you didn't see it.
Because it's going to be very reflective.
The Florida sun off of it.
Yeah. And I was like, what a God, why do I even try?
Yeah. I think you need a bat.
Crazy. A bat?
Just whack him.
Oh,
or you could throw an actual bat at him. And it's
he'd probably be like that
get
kid.
Him, Mortimer.
He would be like that kid in what's the restaurant in Come on, man! In Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
a bad
yeah.
kid.
The kid in Tony's.
Tony's
yeah.
Town Square. Right. You'd be like, the kid in Tony's like, yeah, it's a bat.
You'd hope it would have a more of effect on that guy than
No,
on the kid.
if anyone's going to be a sticker bush kid, if anyone's going to be a sticker bush like a kid like person, it's going to be this guy. He's totally going to be sticker bush man, for sure. Sticker bush man.
Sticker bush man meets bat.
Yeah. In fact, I could probably knock him off his bike. He'd probably get up and just keep riding and not even acknowledge that I knocked him off the bike.
Right.
That's the kind of
that
person.
That would mean acknowledging you as a person that actually exists and needs to be considered as another human being. And that's apparently not his thing.
Right. But you know what bothers me? If he was consistent.
Something bothers you?
The funniest thing is going into this, I thought, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I mean, like a lot of times we're like that.
We're out of stuff.
And like, but I don't think we sent any pins this week.
No, I don't think we did.
Like,
I mean, we have some old ones.
Like we haven't sent it. And I'm like, I don't know. I wonder what we're going to talk about. Well, here we go. So like, I just wish he was consistent because I saw him talking to a neighbor.
Oh,
like not even on the same side, like a neighbor, like across, like a guy. Like, what
I had to get all
that?
Paulie from The Sopranos on that one.
So maybe he just has like a. Maybe he just has this. Maybe he can only really engage with people in his immediate neighborly box. I don't know.
Maybe he's just the guy that's like, I've decided this person is worth something. And this person.
I saw him
not.
moseying on out to it when I got back from the lunch break today. I saw him moseying on out to. I was checking my mail. He was checking his mail, but of course he was like, he has this saunter. Where
the saunter.
I know I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, you kind of have some saunter envy.
Well, I'm not jealous. He wears like those little skimpy shorts, and he's like tanned because I told you he's like outside all the time, half naked, and he's like walks. He's had a shirt on this time at least, and so but he's like walking, and remember he looks like a young version of It's Coming to Me, the Giving Tree dude. Yeah,
Shel Silverstein.
Yes. Exactly. He looks like a young version of Shel Silverstein, which is scary. So then he's
esoteric. That's what an interesting.
But it's dead on, man. I'm telling you, spot on. So he's walking to his mailbox, and all I could think to do was like I'm looking at him like, I'm just like thinking bad things, sending bad things in his direction. At the same time, thinking like I like his walk.
Belligerent seething, but with a little bit of an
He's got a nice little gait. He's got a good gait.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like this case, like this casual, like you remember how like not I'm still he's still alive. So you know how Barack Obama walks like that, like he's got that cool like I mean like Travolta couldn't even touch it. You know like it's just right. It's not like that at all, but it's like that. You see that walking, you're like, oh, that's a like I don't care what you think. But you notice
the walk the way
I don't care what you say about would you have to say about like he's got a cool walk.
I can tell
like,
by the way you
use.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, use my walk. I'm a woman's man.
Woman's man. No time to talk.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That guy has
this
no
guy
time
definitely
to
not
talk.
any time, except to the other neighbor.
Right. Clearly, has no will to talk. Apparently, to you.
But he's tan.
Yeah, well, see, it like obviously comes with a price because then you got to be that guy, right?
Yeah, he's
now, admittedly,
like
the saunter is nice, but
he's just like the Sentry. He's just like always out there. Anyway, I can't.
Is there anything inside of his house? Maybe he's.
I don't know. I'm not going in.
Well, no, and I would imagine you aren't welcome if he's not willing to acknowledge you.
But you know what I will do? If he ever sells that house. If he ever puts it up, if they have a open house.
Yeah. You going in?
I'm going in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't usually do that. I think if it like I feel like it's a courtesy thing. Like when you're selling your house, I always got a little like I don't know, self-conscious about that when we were selling houses.
About letting other people in yours, or
well, it's like it's not so much to let you have to let other people in.
Sure.
But it's when you do the open house thing, knowing that all your neighbors are also going to come in.
Right. Yeah.
Because I have not invited them in before.
That's a good point.
So they're wondering, what's it like in there? Does he have like? I mean, some neighbors come in. Like, there's always like the one or two people you're friends with, but like, it's like, I don't know. That's not always true. No, let me think about it.
Not always.
There's like one neighbor. Yeah, I can pretty much only think of one neighborhood where I've lived. Where we had friends like all around us too. We would we would go to each other's houses. That was a nice neighborhood.
We got friends here, but like when we were in Scottsdale, I don't know that I even saw the other people that lived in our apartment building. I don't think they existed. I think we were the only ones that lived there.
Is it because of air conditioning? Do you like? Is it the?
I think it was because of the area we were living in. We were living in Old Town Scottsdale, which is a kind of. There's a canal that goes all the way through like a lot of Scottsdale, and we're on just on one side of the canal.
And the
other
or sewer?
No, it's a genuine canal. Okay. And you don't want open air sewage in a place that gets to 120 degrees. On the other side of that canal is like some of the douchiest places ever. Lots of like places where 20 somethings come and there's crazy music that was written by an algorithm, and it's just all kinds of crazy junk going on, but it's all like young, successful, wacko people. And so I think it's just the area is really nice because I mean there are great restaurants and there was some awesome like areas, and we're in the shadow of Camelback Mountain, and so there's a lot of great sides of it too, but that one cannot deny that sort of I mean there's no other word for it. It's just douchey, and
it's like
I think because of that,
the word applied to this situation, but
nobody really talked to anybody else.
It was like self-preservation effort.
I guess. I think. Imagine living in an apartment complex where all of them are that bike dude that lives across the street from you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like that when we lived. There was a spot in Maryland where we lived where it was like that. Everybody, all of our neighbors. We had a couple of nice neighbors, but for the most part, they were kind of. The guy literally across the street was a car salesman.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they all hated children. We had children, so they hated us. These are the people who like called the HOA. So we moved from Colorado back to Maryland, and we happened to arrive. We loaded up pods. We didn't do the truck thing. We did pods, and the first pod arrives literally one day before a blizzard hits. I mean, like a serious, like honest to God blizzard. Wow. This was in 2000. It would have been December of 2009, and dumps like 2 feet of snow. Okay, so these people call the HOA. We get a letter from the HOA that week, like by we move in on like a Friday or a Saturday. We get an HOA letter by Tuesday.
A letter too.
I'm the one that dug the mailbox out too. We had like one of those common mailbox units. I was like really irritated by that. I'm like, seriously, and it's a letter from the HOA saying that like the pod has been sitting there for too long. Like one of your neighbors has like informed us that your pod has been sitting there longer than like the 36-hour period. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's 2 feet of snow on the ground. The snow has been sitting here longer than that too.
And it was in our parking spot. Like it's our parking spot that it's in. No one else can park there anyway.
Oh.
That was insane. So that was the beginning of our existence in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, fun.
That was great. The nice thing about that situation was that because we had just moved from Colorado, in Colorado Springs, which I think the base elevation there is like 6,700 feet or something like that. Mm-hmm. My red blood cell count was so strong that I not only could I like lift box after box after box to bring in from the pod, but I could shovel like nobody's business, man. Like I was out there shoveling. You want me to shovel? I mean, I was like, I'm not out of breath. I'm going up the stairs, boxes.
Did you dump the snow on the guy that called the HOA?
Should have. Well, I didn't know who it was. But like, it was just like, felt like I had a superhuman strength. Like, how is this possible? I'm not getting winded. 3 months later.
It's worn off.
Different story. Yes. Very different story. Yeah. So now you understand why like a lot of Olympians like to train at the high altitudes.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense, I suppose.
Anyway, yeah, so that's it. That's it. I'm just going to talk smack about neighbors all night, and
well,
it'll just be like any other episode, really.
It sounds like there's a lot of reason to.
It'll just be fine. Your situation, kind of like your setup, because you don't really run into. I mean, the chances that you're going to have like accidental neighbor interaction seems lower.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you have two ways out. Like if you go out the garage, it's in the back, right? Whereas you go out the front, so you could choose your exit. If like you see some neighbors out there talking, chit chatting, you're like, oh God, I can't get caught up in that because they're gonna be like I'm running late. They're gonna catch me, and I'm right. You can avoid that.
That's true, and the doorbell cam helps with that too.
Well, I mean, God forbid they come to the door.
Well, no, I mean, you can just watch the cam, and just see.
I mean, windows help with that too. But.
All right, no, we're going. But it's not. And another thing is that all of the neighbors that I do tend to run into, I actually like around here, and the ones that I don't run into, I just don't know. I mean, we've been over the fact that I have like Emily and certainly Mark, that's the head of our HOA here. He's a really cool guy, and that makes
you don't have to be
HOA
nice just because they listen, right?
No, I know, but but I did want to shout out.
I mean,
to
you remember what you told me about Mark the other day?
Well,
so was that?
Yeah, but I don't think there was a conviction there. But I feel really good though because he is the head of our HOA here now that we're in charge of it. Like because the places were being built, there was an HOA, quote unquote, in place that the actual the builders had control over for a while until a certain percentage of our stuff sold, and then it shifted over to the owners. And he's a much cooler guy, and so the HOA I feel pretty confident isn't going to be one of those things that can be used as a bludgeon against other people that step out of line just for a second. But yeah, like the people that I know here that are walking around, I'm okay with hey, it's not bad if I run into them. But it's also kind of interesting because if we didn't live somewhere where we could walk to a lot of places, I don't think we'd use our front door ever.
Or you just drive, right? You're like Batman and Robin right out of the cave, the back cave. Like, yeah.
Right. Because it'd be the Batman thing, and then we're gone, and the door's shut. And
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Oh, man. See, to be able to park my car in the garage... when we did that, I have great memories of that where you come, like I would pull into you see that neighbor walking down the street and you're like, I gotta avoid, and you pull in and you hit the garage door closer, like before you even turn the car off.
Yeah.
It's worth the asphyxiation.
Right. That's the great part about having a Tesla. I can go in there and shut the door. I don't have to get out of my car until the thing is shut. I can sit in there for a while. Doesn't matter. I'm still listening to the radio.
Right. And it's silent.
It is. Yeah. Well, there's a fan going because, good Lord, it's hot. But
there's that. Yeah. That's true. That's true. So I want to tell you about the Bill Nye incident.
Interesting. The Bill Nye incident.
So this came to mind several weeks ago, but then it kind of recame to mind because my mother-in-law is going to be coming into town in a week, or less than a week now. We were okay. Let me go back even further. The year was 1998, I think.
98.
I think. Yeah, because when was the whole Monica Lewinsky? Didn't that start like in 98? Started in 98. The impeachment was in January of 99. The impeachment trial, at least, right? So then, I remember.
Yeah, because the timing on that was so bizarre. Because when the whole Whitewater investigation started, and Ken Starr, even when Ken Starr took over the investigation,
right.
Lewinsky wasn't even.
No.
Didn't even work there.
No, not yet. No, right.
It's so weird. Right. But anyway.
So I remember this because so I was with my boss at this school probably in Rockville, Maryland. That's where they do all these things, in Montgomery County, Maryland, DC suburbs. And they were highlighting, it was like it was this education, like maybe it was like STEM stuff or whatever, but there was this educational panel that was being put together by then President Clinton, and they were like coming together, bringing all these people together at this school in Montgomery County. And so we get there probably a solid 2 hours before the event starts, because you have to, because all the Secret Service rules and stuff like that, and because Clinton's coming for this thing. So we're all waiting. We're in this library of this high school or something. And Clinton like is famous for being late to everything, like everything. It's because his meetings just end up running long all the time, which just pushes the next meeting, right? So, but isn't you're the president? It's like people wait around. No one's going anywhere, even people important, like Bill Nye, who happened to be part of this council thing.
Okay.
And so I'm there, and I find him, because we're waiting. I find him in the stacks of like this library, of the school library. Yeah. I wish I remember what he was looking at. I didn't like think that, but what I thought was, I said, Bill Nye, and I introduced myself, and he's like, hey, he does like the famous like, hey, blah blah blah, right, and sure. And I said, can I get your autograph? And he's like, sure. So I have my business card, pull my business card out, which is a cool business card. It's like my U.S. Senate business card. It's like really nice. It's got the like nice. the little logo thing on it. It's like raised, and gold seal, gold leaf kind of thing. It's really nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, nicest thing I had. And then that and my Honda Accord. Actually, it was a Honda Civic. So he signed. He's like, and I asked him to sign it to Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was, big. She was a science teacher, and this was like big, like really like.
Well, that's cool.
Bill Nye and stuff. So she's like, he writes, "Hey Michelle, like Bill Nye, like science guy, blah blah blah." Cool. All right. So this business card, we had like, those little magnetic photo holders that you can stick to your refrigerator. They're like.
It's like just a piece of plastic that's folded on itself.
Yeah.
And you stick it in between.
Yeah. They hold like little pictures or big pictures depending on the size. Well, this like held like basically the size of a business card. So just stuck that in there. And we had that on the refrigerator. I think it may have not even been that fancy. It may have just been the business card with a magnet on it.
We'll just stick it. Okay.
Because, I was like 25 years old. Like, what are you like?
What do I know?
Some lucky things stick to my refrigerator that aren't sticky. So it's on there. Okay, so cut to the next year. And I remember the whole Lewinsky thing because at that conference, like they allowed the press in there for a second. And the first question asked was about the scandal.
God. Yeah.
And he was like, okay, everybody out. So that was great. So I cut to a year later. It's 99. We're getting ready to move to San Francisco. And my mother-in-law's helping pack the kitchen up. And she's making decisions about what to pack and what to throw away.
Oh, Lord.
And I remember hearing her say to Michelle, like, can you just throw this away? Like the business card thing. And she's like, no, keep that.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. Right? I never found it. It got tossed.
Oh, man.
I know. And like, it just bothers, like, it's not like there's just wrong on so many levels because, like, number one, you actually asked. Like, so you lose the plausible deniability piece. Like, you asked. Yeah. And so when someone says...
And we're given an answer that was, no, don't throw it away.
Right. But I think sometimes people just have it in their head. Like, they're not really asking. They're just that, you know.
Right. Or she was assuming that the answer would be, no, go ahead and get rid of it. And so she kind of inserted that into the signal.
Right. Number two, something that's on someone's refrigerator, especially the front. Now, we're not talking about like that side real estate stuff. That stuff that you're like, you know, it's where you put like the like kids achievement certificate or something that's there for like 6 years. You're like, why do we still have this? Like, literally in my house right now, we have on the side. Now, it's the side's the only side that's the only part that's magnet. You can't magnetize. You can't stick anything to the front. But anyway,
this is like that too, and I don't understand.
The stuff on the side, I mean, like most of the side of the refrigerator is populated by annual pass holder magnets that I, like, cattle like go to pick up every time that they're offered, and stand in line for 10 minutes in the sweltering heat of the Florida sun, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Our dishwasher is rapidly becoming a pass holder mosaic.
And I've gotten to the point where I started sending them to people who are like, "Oh, I wish I had such and such. If only, or I lost this. Here, I'll send you one because, gosh, I need the real estate on my refrigerator."
Right.
So we have stuff like that.
Off the back.
We have like the honor roll certificate, like that Alex received 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's in college. Why do I still have this? More importantly, why do I find it so hard to like remove it?
Right. Yeah.
It's like once it makes it there, it's like it's this place of honor that something much.
Well, it has to be like knocked off by something else that's better. There has to be this weird Mortal Kombat that.
Like, I don't know if you were like I remember pictures like in my house growing up, like pictures when you got a new photo, the family photo, for example, and they got put into the frame. They just got layered on top of whatever that picture was in there before.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Right?
And
no
so
one ever throws that other one away.
There's like 6-7 pictures in the stack in there. It's so weird.
But I kind of get it now. Like, like, what are you going to do? Right? You're going to throw them away. They can't see it anymore. It's okay. You know it's there. So
you can be like Bob, the weird photographic archaeologist, that's like, oh, look at the different. This is back during the Cambrian era. Apparently, this guy that's 20 years old over there is 6 years old here.
Well, I'm not even like this isn't even the side refrigerator stuff. This is front refrigerator stuff.
Yeah.
This is like high honor.
Yeah.
So like, why do you even ask?
The side of the fridge is like the miners.
Of course it gets packed. It's on the refrigerator. Everything gets packed. What kind of question is that?
Yeah. Totally with you.
But finally, third, it's Bill Nye the Science Guy. I mean, like why? Who? What? In what universe?
Some famous guy scribbled on this. You want to keep it?
I mean, like, Bill Nye the Science Guy. It's like if we like nowadays. This like I don't even know if this is a fair comparison. It'd be like having Neil deGrasse Tyson
or Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Right, I know. And this was like 1990s Bill Nye. It was like the height of his popularity. Right. Wasn't Mr. Wizard? Although that would be awesome.
That would be cool too. Yeah. I wonder if you've ever met Mr. Wizard. I wonder if Bill Nye and Mr. Wizard ever met. Surely Mr. Wizard has long since.
I just had this crush on this girl that was on Mr. Wizard on the radio. Yeah? She's like a recurring.
One of the Wizard.
It's wrong. I have trouble. I can't really think about that anymore because she's still at that age. In
right.
my memory.
Yeah. I mean, even though she's probably older than you at this point.
Oh, she's definitely. I was definitely out of my league at that point, and yes.
It'd be like if you were 15 and trying to go out with the daughter of the lady that's in Princess of France.
That's right. Oh, okay, too soon. Yeah, so that happened. You know, I also done some other stuff in that. I think she also got rid of the. I used to have this wonderful. It was kind of this like. It was an infographic. Because that's what people put on the refrigerators. It was like this infographic from
visualized data.
Men's Health or something. It was like they had this like a kind of a bullseye shape to it, but it was about the Mediterranean diet. And things like what foods are in it and what things to focus on, what things to avoid, or it was just a great. And I kind of lived my life by that. I was like my healthiest time of my life was when I had Bill Nye and this Mediterranean diet poster on my refrigerator, and it's all been downhill health-wise since then.
It got trashed, and now, well, look at you.
Don't think I haven't tried to. I've scoured the internet trying to find that. Mediterranean diet poster.
I'm going to try to get in touch with Bill Nye and see if he'll do another thing for you.
Won't be the same, though.
Well, I can't get him to try to dig through the trash and find the original.
The story's even better because I think Clinton had arrived by now, but he was still doing all the glad-handing stuff with the highfalutin people. But Nye was kind of off. No one was paying any attention to him.
Yeah,
so it was that was my guy.
His career, yeah.
Bill Nye, what a good guy. Anyway, feel bad. It's so good that she doesn't listen to this. I hope. God, when does this come out?
Tomorrow.
I gotta make sure Michelle listens or watches before she arrives because, oh boy, that's gonna be an awkward dinner. Oh, you think the next HOA meeting is gonna be awkward for you?
Woo.
I have something else I can talk about, but I want to leave the floor open for you. I don't know if you.
Well, there was a
refrigerator stories.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because our refrigerator is the same way. You're trying to put a magnet on it, it just falls right off because there's nothing ferrous in there. But why wouldn't you just put a sheet of stainless steel or something, or just iron right behind the door? Because refrigerator magnet is the name of the magnet. Therefore, there should be a reasonable
expectation. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You can't have one without the other in the house.
We call them refrigerator magnets because they go on the stinking refrigerator. How are you going to make a refrigerator that doesn't have ferrous metal in the door and so doesn't accept magnets? And it's what the heck, man? I just don't understand that at all. Our dishwasher though can, and so that's where all of our magnets are. It's on our dishwasher.
And you don't have little kids walking around, little toddlers to pull them off or anything.
That's true.
Perfect.
That's true. So
isn't it great? You buy these appliances, these stainless steel, beautifully clean looking appliances, and then you cover them up with magnets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What finish is your refrigerator? Oh, what does it matter?
I don't know.
It's plastic. Little bits of plastic with magnets on the back of them.
Oh, speaking of plastic.
What?
I found... I don't know why I don't know what I was doing back there, but back behind my TV, which I still haven't mounted to the wall. It's another story. 2 years later. The mount's there. I just haven't done it.
The mount's not on the wall, is it?
The mount's on the wall.
Oh my God! So there's a TV just kind of
on a stand.
On a stand, and then there's a mount above the TV.
There's a mount behind. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going there.
It seems like you've done the hard part. What's the deal?
So here's the thing. I even paid somebody to come in and install the mount when we moved here.
But they didn't. But that last sort of crucial step.
Okay, here we go. So before we moved here, The year was 2000. 19. No,
Way back machine.
The year was 2018.
Ooh, going way back.
And, or as the kids like to call it, 18.
18.
And it was
The
it
one
was
8.
18. And it was like Thanksgiving-ish. It was like a Black Friday deal thing. We already knew we were moving, where we were going, yada yada yada. But there were these TV deals, and one of my best friends, Jeff, had just bought a TV, and he loved this TV, loved it, raved about it. And he was the kind of guy. He's the kind of guy you think I get annoyed with stuff, right? Man, he makes me look like an amateur. I mean, whew.
He makes you look like me.
He put a lot of time, exactly, which is saying something. So he put a lot of time and effort into investigating this, researching it, and so forth. So I just asked him. I said, like, what TV did you get?
Uh-huh.
So this is it. Sends me all this information. I look it up. It's like $500 cheaper than what he paid. He even says to me, "Don't tell me what you pay for this," because he just bought it like a month earlier. So I'm like, okay, do I purchase this? I checked with the moving company. I was like, is it going to cost me more money to like move this if I buy it here? And then and they're like, no. I was like, if it's in the box, it's like,
oh yeah, that's a good point. It's already packed
order
up.
this television, gets delivered to the house, giant, like 70 some odd inches, what kind of great TV.
Really good.
Samsung, I think. And leave it in the box. Ginormous box. Taking up more than half the dining room. And then we move it. Get to Florida. Early on. Arrange to have these mounts put up around the house. Have a handyman guy come. It's a whole thing, because he comes and he discovers that, you can't, because I didn't fill out the form properly or something. I didn't realize that it was a masonry wall. Because it's Florida, so any external wall in a house built after, I don't know what was a hurricane in the 90s that changed all the regs. The one that hit Miami crushed it. That one.
Hurricane.
It was. I don't remember because I wasn't here. Anyway, they changed a lot of regulations for building codes related to that. Anyway, so all the outside walls are the masonry. I didn't know, so he had to come back the next day with the right drill bits and stuff.
So it's masonry all the way through to the inside.
Yeah, I mean you have drywall, right? And you have studs, I guess, but the studs, they're like metal studs probably. So you're going into concrete.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he has to come back next day. Anyway, gets this thing. I had already bought the cool mounting thing. Comes out from the wall and can swivel and all that stuff. Great. Yes, and it's gonna hold this ginormous TV. Solid, right? Get it up there. Beautiful, wonderful, great. TV starts doing weird stuff.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Long story short, something's terribly wrong with this television. It needs to go back. But they keep trying to send people out to fix it. They won't just want to send somebody out to fix it. It doesn't need to be fixed. It just needs to be replaced as a brand new TV. Okay. The Samsung technician rent-a-technician guy comes out, and this is the best part. They say they can't take the television off of the mount. They're not allowed to do that. It has to be down off so they can then work with it. So I then have another handyman come out just to help me get the television off the mount and onto the floor.
Just too big. It's unwieldy.
Onto the floor. Well, it's probably like a OSHA thing. Who knows? So I do that.
Well, no, I mean for you need a dude to help you
I
with
can.
it
No, I
yeah.
can't. It's 70 some odd inches.
Yeah.
So I can't. So it's on the floor now. I'm trying to keep dogs away from it. This guy finally comes. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's this. I didn't know. I don't have that part." We have to order that. I'm like, what? Yeah, I have to order that part. I can't. I'm like, well, how long is that going to take? Oh, a week.
A week?
So I'm like, I paid to have somebody come help me get this television off the wall. Now it's on the floor. It's like, oh, I can help you put it back up. I was like,
wait a minute, what?
I was told by the people, you can't help me with this. I was like, oh, yeah. Like, so turns out he could. He helps me put it back up on the thing, but we don't like secure it in because, it's gonna
come down in just a week later anyway. Yeah.
Well, making a terribly long story even longer. Like it never happens. Like these people don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
And so finally, I mean, I was on the phone with Samsung for hours, raising Cain, blah, blah. I mean, like everything. And so I said, the heck with it. I went out and bought another television.
I have to admit I probably would have too.
So I brought it back and I stuck it. I put it, and this one was, it was like a 60 something inch, but it was what's the difference? It's like the, instead of it being like a LCD, it's the
OLED or.
Oh, it's an OLED.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's pristine.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
It's beautiful, right? It's smaller, but what I thought was like, you know what? I'm going to put it in front of the other television, so on its stand, in front of the other television, and then this way, I'm going to watch this and see like, does the size really matter?
Right. Yeah.
Like, can I get used to this? Can I get accustomed to this? Right? And it was fine.
Yeah.
It was a little intimidated by the larger TV behind it, but it was fine.
But that TV didn't work, so it's like having a taller dead person behind you while you do your job.
Right. So finally, I finally do get Samsung to agree to just take to return the television, like take it back, right? And so, but it has to go. It's actually Best Buy that I return it to, and so Best Buy is who issues me this credit. But it was this whole thing because so they came and took the television. They came and took it. It was like the Geek Squad people come and like they're going to install something, but they're not. They're like uninstalling, and they take it, and I sign the paperwork and everything, and then I'm given this tracking thing. I can track it. Well, I was able to track it until it got to Jersey, and then it went poof, gone.
It went all the way back to Jersey.
Back to Jersey. And so I needed to like have it verify that it was received by the warehouse for me to get the credit, right? But it never got received. It went to Jersey and just.
Well, that's Jersey, right?
Right. It's probably on like Route 29 or something. Anyway, it took again like another 2 months before Best Buy just would issue me the credit that I was supposed to get. So this is months that go by. Months. Okay. This television is still sitting. The replacement television is still sitting in the stand where it's been since the day I set it up by myself, because I can handle a 60-something inch TV, but not a 7. And that's why the television is still sitting there, because I don't know, what do I do? Like at this point, nothing's wrong. The only thing that's wrong now is that I have I now have this wall mount that's mocking me. And people who come over and they say, you still haven't put I don't know what to do. I don't even know where the screws are at this point, I'm sure, but they're not in
well, that's what I was
somewhere.
asking. The sort of operative question here is, did you take something off of the old TV before they took it away?
Oh yeah, I got the contraption.
Oh, okay, good. I was about to say, because I think you may have screwed yourself.
No. I can put it all. I can put the.
And that
thing
might also explain why it took a little while in Jersey for them to.
No, I can put the thing to the thing.
So you can put it on the thing. Well, then I don't know what the problem is.
I don't know. Maybe I should just have you
screw the thing to the back of the TV and hang it up there.
We just do it together. But
I'll come help you.
But I was back there the other day for whatever reason. And I think I was jiggling something. And it turned out that I had never peeled the plastic off the back of the television.
Really?
The whole sheet.
You pulled a grandma.
I mean, but you know what it's like when you... Man, I pulled it off the screen.
Love it.
Right. Oh,
yes.
Especially it's one piece off of a 60-inch. I mean, come on, right? You know what
so
I
it's
did?
the back of the TV, not the front.
Being the loving mensch-like father that I am.
What did you do?
I go into my son's room, Henry, and I said to him, I just discovered the back side of the television. It still has the plastic on it. We can take it off. I'll let you have the honor if you'd like, because it's so satisfying. He says, okay, I'll be out in a little bit.
Oh.
I'm like, oh no. You just lost your chance, buddy.
Yes, sorry. I'm sorry. Now that I know it's there, it's not just going to sit there.
You can't just sit there. What are you talking about? It's already got a little loose edge.
How is... Oh, it's the temptation of that is just ridiculous.
No! So I just went and I just did it. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, so nice.
It's I don't even know what to call that
and
sort
the
of
static,
visceral
the static sound
feeling that you get. Is it cathartic? What is that? It's just very satisfying. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like the laminar flow kind of thing. It's just
That's why I always thought that they, they had that, what's that called? The wax that you like dip your hand in or whatever, and then you peel it off. And it takes off like the dead skin or whatever. I always thought that would have a very similar sort of feel when you're pulling that off.
But if it could come off in one...
especially, yeah.
Elmer's glue.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
We did that when they were in elementary. I didn't even think about that. I haven't thought about that in decades. Like,
yeah, I haven't either.
We would like paint our hands essentially in that. Sometimes we put it on the desk. But you get like a nice thin layer of Elmer's glue, and it dries pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then you can just like, you could just like peel that off. Like it's like
I know it's you want to kind of skirt the issue, but because it is a little disgusting. But
I mean, it's like when your skin is peeling like from
Absolutely.
sunburn. Yeah, it's like it's like absolutely disgusting when it's on somebody else.
Oh, yeah. If you
but when it's yourself, it's just yours.
Peeling someone else. It
is the best thing in the world.
And that one is like doubly so, because not only do you get that same peel, like being the peeler kind of satisfaction, but being the haver of the thing that's being peeled is also like, it's pretty satisfying too, because you're getting like new air on your skin or something. It's like this fresh feeling. It's amazing.
But most people.
I'm sure this is a sign of some form of psychosis. But
you did have like one friend, like right, who like they were, like you were close enough that they could peel. They could do your back.
I don't know that I've ever had that friend.
So you never had your back? I mean, I haven't had to have my back
peel
peeled.
buddy. I don't think.
Peel buddy.
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. Unless I did it in my sleep or something.
I feel so bad for you now. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe I never did either.
I don't know that I'm the one on the downside of this.
Maybe I just watched it being done and just like projected it onto myself. Like
I bet you it's like a subreddit or a YouTube channel of peeling people.
Well, I'm not looking that up.
Yeah,
I don't. I mean,
idea.
I have a lot of embarrassing things in my search history. I don't need that. Like, talk about injuring the algorithm. Did I tell you about did we talk about the Midol?
I was going to bring that up because it's one of the two old pins on my.
I mean, I have another peel story, or we could talk about the Midol.
I'm sure people are dying to hear the peel story. They haven't had enough of that yet.
Well, it's actually it's about a banana.
Okay. No, but please, the Midol.
At the Midol, we'll come back to the banana at some point.
We'll do the banana.
We'll do that another day. The Midol.
I'm gonna write that down now. Banana.
This is pretty straightforward. It's the mystery of the why. The mystery is the why. I got like this very fancy piece of marketing material mailed to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those things. It's almost like, congratulations, you're part of a club. So you get you open it and it's got like multiple panels that like open, they kind of unfold in this origami like kind of fashion. And then it's like glossy. Like they put a lot of money into this material, and then the discount card or the coupon that comes with it is like, it's kind of like not like a credit card, but thicker than a piece of paper. It's like, that like, it's like a lot of stuff. And it was to my name, Jason Knapp, with my address. It's all my doll. It's about my doll. It's like I like.
And it's not like you have like one
I'm
of those names that could be either, gender.
No, I mean like
Jason.
Even if it was like, I'm like, how bad do you screw this demographic up? Like seriously.
Yeah,
But more importantly is, what have I done? What
have I what
purchased?
Website did you do?
What dark secret are they aware of that has led them to think
that you're having premenstrual problems?
Right.
Because because one, the obvious answer is like, maybe it's for your wife, but what a bad idea to be like, hey, dear, maybe you need some Midol. The last person you want to send something about Midol to is somebody who's married to a female.
I think you could use some.
Yeah, I saw some of this. They say it handles some of the things you're dealing with. I'm fine with it. How you are, I love it.
But I'm just gonna sprinkle a little in your eggs. It's fine.
I'm just passing it along. They seem very confident in their product here.
I mean, that's weird, right? I don't know how much that must have cost them. It's certainly more than $1.
I get a weird thing today from I don't know what, you talking about what did you do to get on these mailing lists. Everybody and their dog apparently wants me to take some sort of loan these days. And I got this thing today that honestly made me think, am I being served papers or something? Because it was a full-on 8.5 by 11 manila envelope and thick, and it had like a typed, well, I'm sure it wasn't typed, but a printed with like courier font. So, I mean, it looked like a typewriter, address label on it, and no branding or anything on the outside. So I was like, wow, I don't know, maybe, my lawyer is sending me something. I have a lawyer apparently, and he's sending me something. So I opened it up and like you're talking about with this must have been expensive. It is a laminated cardstock trifold thing that for whatever reason, this loan company has made this thing look like a laptop computer.
What?
I'm looking at I wish I still had it, but I tossed it. If you look at the top, it looks like the top of a MacBook. Okay. Only instead of the Apple logo, it has the logo of this loan company. And then you open it up, and there's honest to God, there's a keyboard in there with a mouse, trackpad, and everything.
Like a picture of one.
Right. It's not a real one. They sent me a laptop going, we hope you're going to get a loan. Would you like a loan to pay for this laptop? But you open up, and then on the screen of the laptop is all of the information about this wonderful loan that you can get. And you open it up again, and then completely opened up, it's just stuff about the loans and the rates and the whatever. But you fold it together, and it looks like a laptop. And hand to God, you turn it around, and it's the bottom of the laptop, like on the other side. It's got
they
the little,
really got all.
It looks like the feet, and
cutting no corners on this thing.
No, this is a high resolution, scan of a laptop or something. And I mean, it's even got like the little symbols that say you can't recycle this and all of that stuff on there. It's got all of that. It is it's somebody's MacBook that they have But I don't need or want a friggin' loan. So, I mean...
I know, but like now I'm a little jealous that I didn't receive this. Like,
well, I'll
what's wrong
send
with
you
me?
mine if you want it.
You don't have it anymore.
It's Mac compatible.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
But all of this for like, hey, you want a loan? I mean, it's a cold call, basically. But it's this... If I've got these things printed, that would be intensely expensive. Mm-hmm. That was like $5 worth of stuff that they sent me. And probably send it to hundreds of other people too. Yeah. So, wow, I guess it works. Somebody's like, you know, I'm thinking about getting a loan.
You better now.
But I wish that somebody would go the extra mile and send me a thing that looks like a laptop. Or something along those lines, you know, so send me some kind of appliance.
If only that'll be the thing that tips you over, right?
Right. Like we tried sending out people things that look like toaster ovens and they just weren't going for it.
You know, it'd be cool, but also creepy is if they sent you so you open up the laptop thing and on the screen are a list of all the things that you can do with the money you get from the loan, but they're all somehow relevant to things you actually want to do.
Ooh. Now that would be interesting.
Like that.
It seems like
maybe a trip to Japan,
it's anonymized, so
or a Disney cruise, or some new like video equipment, or like all sorts of stuff. And you'd be like,
right.
Maybe I should get a loan. Maybe I should. Just press this button. It's like one of those little. It'd be like those little raised buttons, like the I used to have on the back of the what I used to have. It was the Talking Viewmaster thing.
Talking Viewmaster.
Oh yeah, I had a Viewmaster that had audio discs that were attached to they had a Viewmaster disc and then had an audio disc attached to it, like those little plastic discs. And you put it in this machine. It was like a Viewmaster top, but like had the bottom with where the speakers were, and you stick it in the thing, and then it had a little button on the back. But you'd have to press to like advance the sound. Mm-hmm. It was like this little red button. It was so satisfying to push the little red button. It's kind of like the only thing that comes close to it nowadays is a little button, a little reset button, a little jam button on the bottom of the garbage disposal.
Oh yeah.
You know that button? A little like case of emergency, like press this.
Yeah, when you accidentally dropped steel wool in there or something.
Why isn't this working? Oh, it's. I push the button.
Now, have you ever had to take the Allen wrench and sort of force it? Because there's
yeah. You had that mad scramble. You're like, do I know where that is?
Right.
And then you realize you bought an entire set because you've been through this terrifying experience.
I mean, because the one that comes with it is this kind of weird sort of shaped one, and it makes you think that that's the one you need, but it's actually. I don't know, why don't I ever just
tape that to the side of it?
That's a good point. I have done that with some stuff because I got wise. But there's some things that are like, this must have been before I started doing that.
Isn't it great when you do that? You're like, and then you forget though that you taped it.
Yeah.
And so then you go and you're like, I was brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, past me.
I want to buy past me a drink.
Good job,
well
buddy.
Done.
Yes. That's what we're talking about.
Sending kudos back through time.
It's like be kind to your future self. It's like, yes.
And then there is, of course, the flip side of that where you curse your past self.
What were you thinking?
It's like, damn it, past me.
Geek Squad's right there. Have them mount the TV. Slip them a 20.
And you know that past self was going, you know what? Screw future me.
He deserves it, I'm sure.
I don't even know that guy.
There are some times when I'm like dieting. What am I saying? I'm like always dieting, but not really.
In some way, yeah.
In some way.
Me too.
I'm failing in some way at any given moment. But there's sometimes when I'm successful. And the times where I found like there was this period of time, not so long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where my secret was this. I don't know that I want to say this, but I have to now. So, my secret was to actually like break myself up into parts. So,
Interesting.
like, so, okay, so that, like, it's today. So it's the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to remind myself is, like, if I have a temptation of some sort,
Yeah.
I just say, look, I am just responsible for today.
Oh.
I have to just get us through today, right? Just today. Tomorrow's Jason can worry about tomorrow.
Right,
But today is just today. I'm going to be responsible for my day, right?
Uh-huh.
So then you get to tomorrow, and then it's like the same thing, but somehow it feels different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, now it's my day. Thank you, yesterday.
I'll take over from here.
I
Thanks.
got it from here.
I relieve you, sir. I stand relieved.
And it really worked for that time. But then, since then, I've tried this more recently. And, like, I make it, like, 2 hours. I'm like, screw you. Like, no. You know what? Let tomorrow worry about this. We're not worried
Right.
about this today. Like, we're out. We're out. Nope. So, you should be kind to your future self.
Yeah. It usually pays off, and when future self becomes current self, it's so much better.
Right? Even if it's just tomorrow.
I remember screwing my future self a lot in like high school. Study. I'll study later.
Oh.
I got 2 whole hours before the test.
Yeah, those are lessons that are learned hard, and I try to I try to tell my kids these things too. Like, guys, like, especially when you get to that point. I mean, like, looking back on it, like there's, like, you know, maybe 3 years of high school, and then you have college. You know, maybe if you go to grad school, like, there's this, like, you've got, it's basically what, 3 and 7. I mean, maybe a 10-year window of time where, like, just work.
Just do the thing. Yeah.
Just do this thing that actually feels hard, but when you look back on it later in life, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that was so easy.
Yeah, because when you weren't doing the thing, if you did the thing the way you're supposed to do the thing, there's a lot of time when you don't have to do squat.
Right.
And that's never happening again.
That's the thing, right?
That's
so, like,
it.
Just work, and even like getting it down, like looking at, like you want to get into college, so you try to chunk it, right? Like you just want to get into a good college, so you got these 3 years. You just work, just do the stuff, do the things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You will thank yourself. You've got the rest of your life. Like, take these 3 years and multiply them by a lot, and like, right? You are going to be so happy with yourself if you do those things. It doesn't work. I tried, like Alex, he wanted at some point, he wanted a guitar. He wanted an electric guitar. So I got him this little electric guitar, and got him lessons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't really do it, you know? And I was like, Alex, keep trying. Like, because if you're the guy in college who knows how to play guitar,
yes.
come
You
on.
understand what your social standing will be.
You don't understand. Come on. Like, you will be so thankful
You
to
will
your
have
past
all
self.
of the whatever you're into.
No, it's like the kid who brings the ball to the court. Like, no one messes with the kid who brought the ball.
Right.
You bring the guitar to the party. No one, like, you're the cool guy automatically.
Yes.
You're like,
Here's a guitar. Here's a Buddy Guy album. And you now go.
right.
Go ahead.
The world is your oyster.
And spread your message, man. Yeah. That's the thing, though, isn't it? Because I always hear about, like, what would you do if you could go back in time and tell your past self 5 words or whatever? And
that's
it's
a good
like,
question.
invest in Apple. That's like the only thing that
I like
honestly would help, because none of that crap can you be told.
Right.
You know?
But
I knew the problem. I knew the problem was that I was too, what I was afraid of in social situations was unreasonable and stupid. I knew that I should just loosen up and be a little bit bolder when it came to talking to people. It's not like I didn't know those things. being told them by somebody else was not going to help me in the least. And so
I might as well be rich.
Right. So if I can just give myself some objective freaking financial advice, that's the only thing that's going to actually cause any kind of change.
That's reasonable. I think that.
I mean,
I may have to rethink.
I'd
what
love
I tell
to say
my
like just
self.
be yourself. But that I know pragmatically that's not what would happen. I would have been like, well, yeah, I get that, but.
So you'd be like Biff. You'd take the little.
Yeah, yes, I would.
Okay.
I don't know that I would go the same route he did, morally speaking, but I don't know that it wouldn't. But
you open up casinos.
but yeah, just because you only, especially the ones that are like 5 words, that's all you got. And it's like, well, geez, what the heck can I possibly convey in that?
What I can.
Don't worry, it gets better.
Words.
I mean, that's
Don't
like.
Worry. Don't worry, it gets. That works.
I mean, great. It's like,
It gets better.
That implies.
And then it gets worse. But then it gets better. And then it gets worse. And then it gets better.
It gets better is an acknowledgement from future me that it sucks right now. And I'm already aware of that.
In fact, if future me is telling me that it gets better, if that's the only thing, like it had 5 words, and that's what it chooses to tell me, this
Right.
must really suck.
Can I send some words back? I only got 2.